Hey, what's going on, guys? So this is my first ever video, so I'd like to start off by saying sorry if I'm a little awkward or anxious, but today I would like to talk about my experience with taking Suboxone so far. So I'm going to start off with like a brief introduction. So my name's Holden, I'm 25 years old and I'm from Canada, and I began taking opiates daily around about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I started like kind of getting more heavy into it. But 3 years probably, or 2 years ago, is when the daily use kind of started to ramp up. So basically, my drug of choice was hydromorphone or Dilaudid, and I would take the 8 milligram shields, as you guys probably know what they look like, but they're very popular here in Canada and easy to get, so that was kind of my go-to. And I would say at the worst, I was taking around 80 milligrams a day, so 10 pills, sorry. And kind of more towards the end, it kind of was more of like an 8 pill if I had them. But most of the time I would try to make them stretch out as long as I could throughout the week. So some days it might be 3, some days it might be 4. If I had them, it would be 8. So it really depended on the day, but I'd say at the worst it was about 10 pills a day. I first tried to quit one time, I would say about a year and a half ago, kind of like early on into it, because I kind of realized it was a bit of an issue. And so I decided to go on a month-long vacation to Egypt and basically just abruptly stopped cold turkey. And it wasn't too bad. I would say like the withdrawals weren't that bad. I didn't really notice because I was kind of out doing like a lot of cool shit. And I didn't really think about the withdrawals at the time. So I got kind of lucky. And I was gone for about a month. I went to Jordan as well on that trip, and it was an amazing experience. But when I came back home, I remember I just had these horrible cravings. Like I remember like when I got back, like all I could think about was picking up more pills. And this was pretty worrisome, but like I didn't really think much of it. Like I would just, like you guys know, like I would justify it to myself basically. Started using again, it probably got a bit heavier, and I ended up going, I'm just gonna keep it like kind of short, but I ended up going on another trip to Greece, Iraq, and Egypt again. Same thing, I quit, but this time I started to notice the withdrawals because I was using it a bit heavier. And I remember like my first like 3 days of my trip, I was like stuck inside the hotel, like I just didn't want to do anything. And I kind of started to realize what the cycle was at this point, like what happens when you quit and what the withdrawals are like. So I kind of really started to realize this was becoming an issue. Like I was pretty aware the whole time I was using that, like it was kind of becoming an issue because I would start to get really sick, obviously, if I didn't have any, so I would buy more. And then it got into this really bad cycle. I went on another shorter trip, same thing, I quit for 2 weeks, came back, had bad cravings. That was kind of the cycle that I would go away, I would quit, and I would come back with really bad cravings, and I would justify buying more pills for myself. And so it was pretty bad for the last year, I would say. And then the past half year, it became kind of more of a financial issue. So I realized that like I was pretty much spending all my money on pills, and this was a huge problem for me. So basically I decided kind of at my lowest point, like I would do some research on how like what are kind of my options, like what should I do. And I came across mostly on Reddit, I came across a lot of people recommending Suboxone as it has like a higher, or has a better chance of not relapsing, because that was kind of my issue, right? Is I would have these really bad cravings and I would relapse. And so I learned about Suboxone and gave my local like addiction center a call, booked an appointment, and I went in. So it wasn't here in Canada, like it wasn't much of a process to kind of get it or to get into the facility. I just called, I submitted an email and they called me back, and I got it booked within like a day. And then I went into the doctors the next day, and I talked to like the nurses and the counselor, and we all kind of agreed that based on my current situation that it might be worth it to try taking Suboxone. And so I gave it a shot. I talked to the doctor, and she said I should start with 6 milligrams. The 6 milligrams under my tongue that day, I got like, I'm kind of skipping through a bunch of stuff, but yeah, so I ended up taking the 6 milligrams that day. I noticed a bit of like, not like a high, but it's kind of like a little bit of like that wave kind of that you get like when you're like feeling like normal or like sick, and then you take the opiate, and then there's kind of like just this wave of like you just start to feel better, basically. Like you're not sick, like you kind of have that clear mind. And like if you've taken Suboxone, you know what I'm talking about. Like it's not a buzz or like a high, but like you kind of feel it. And I remember instantly, like the day I took it, because like I had stopped, like before I took it, I stopped 3 days prior, because like I'm pretty sure that's what I read was recommended, just to kind of get it out of your system. Although in Canada, apparently you need to have it in your system for them to prescribe it to you. So I was lucky I had like traces of oxycodone still in my system, so they were able to prescribe it to me. And yeah, like I said, I remember that day I realized like, wow, like this is actually like, this was 100% worth it. Like all the kind of the things that I was worried about, like being too sick to go to work, social like not being able to like be social, you know what I'm talking about? And yeah, like I really, like that just kind of like wiped it all away, as well as like the biggest part was the cravings. Like I didn't crave these pills, and it was like very interesting to me, like how I would, like the 3 nights prior, like when I wasn't on anything at all, like I remember at nighttime all I could think about was these pills. Like I wish I could have them, is there a way I can get them, type shit. And yeah, like I remember the Suboxone like completely, like the first day, like it completely knocked the cravings, it completely knocked like the withdrawal feelings, like the achy muscles, sweating, weird like body temperature, like all of that was gone. And yeah, so this was all 2 weeks ago at this point, right? So I've been on Suboxone now for 2 weeks. So how has it been so far? So far it's been like incredible. Like I noticed that kind of like buzz feeling, or like the kind of weird, like the feeling, I would say, like not the high, but like the feeling that you kind of get when you first take it, it kind of dissipated within like the first, I would say, 2 days. And or no, maybe like 3 or 4 days actually, I would say, is when I kind of stopped getting that feeling, and it just made me feel normal. I could just feel normal, and I don't have cravings. So obviously I realized like I'm taking a partial agonist, so like you're kind of taking an opiate still, but like I'm not going broke for pills, and I'm not feeling extremely sick when I don't have them. Like I'm stable. And I think that's what's most important to me, is just stabilizing myself and getting into a place where I can kind of work on my life a little bit. And you know, when I feel like I'm in a comfortable situation, I feel like I'll eventually work on tapering off the Suboxone. But I think for now, as someone who is kind of getting far into an addiction, but like obviously like it could have been worse for sure. Like it could have been worse, but like I was pretty aware the whole time, like, yeah, this is a problem. And so I kind of just wanted to take a step and fix this problem, stabilize a bit, work on my life, and you know, see where this takes me. So for the future of this channel that I created, you know, I would like to work on making more videos and get used to speaking into the camera and just overall trying something new, you know, kind of like starting a new hobby and see where it goes. So if you guys enjoyed this first video from me, please leave a like and please definitely leave a comment on maybe your experience with Suboxone or maybe different video ideas that I could do in the future, or things I can improve on as well, actually. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to. You don't have to. I just appreciate it if you did, you know? And yeah, I'll see you in another video. Thank you.